Straight people who dated married a closeted gay person. How did you find out they were gay? When we were 17, my best friend, him a straight female and HES a gay male, met the hottest guy at a party and struck up a friendship. Numbers were exchanged, MySpace friends were added, etc., etc. Before long, both my friend and I developed a big ol' mutual crush. Hot guy was straight. So soon enough I made a move and we started dating. My friend was happy for me. No jealousy at all, but he'd still often joke that one day my boyfriend would turn and confess his love to him instead. It took 2 months. My first came out to me during our relationship freshman year. Crying and confused because I don't know how I can love you so much and still feel this way. It was a hard convo, but in the end we both loved each other a lot. So being bent out of shape over the relationship wasn't more important than our friendship and helping them feel comfortable with themselves. 8 years later and they're still my very best friend. Another, not me but my friend. My friend was dating a guy in college and it didn't work out. A decade later she bumps into him on a commuter train and they get to talking. He had a wife and kids. She'd always thought they'd broken up because he was gay and in the closet. And assuming she'd been wrong, she shared this humorous anecdote with him while they talked. The next time she bumped into him, he'd acknowledged his sexuality and filed for divorce. WASNT me. But I have to say this story. His GF was giving him a BJ when he stops her mid-BJ and tells her HES gay. Epic. I believe they're on good terms now. Not 100% sure. I had dated a guy for about 4 months. I caught him taking Viagra. He didn't come up with a lie. He just broke down and confessed. I guess his family was concerned that he might have been gay because he never really brought a girl around them. And he figured since they liked me, dating me would get them off his back. He worked up the courage to tell his family and they didn't receive it well. So they cut him off. H is currently happily married, so at least he got that. My mom's first marriage was to a gay man. She found out because she caught him cheating while she was away at her grandmother's funeral. They remained friends afterwards until he died in the first waves of the HIV epidemic. She sometimes remarked that, although finding out really broke her heart, she thinks they married out of college so they could move away from their parents, and that it felt safe to be with him because he didn't pressure her for anything. Fast forward a couple decades. Another marriage. The baby she always wanted. And another death. In retrospect, my father was probably asexual, but they had a loving, companionate marriage and provided a stable home for me that I was very fortunate to have. After he died, she moved across the country in her 60s, came out as gay, and is now married to a woman. Not me but a close relative. Married a closet lesbian. Wife got a new job and became very buddy-buddy with another female employee. He got suspicious and installed a keystroke logger on her PC. Then confronted her about the shit she'd been iming. She wasn't just cheating, but was also talking shit about him to her mistress. Still don't know if the keystroke logger was part of why he got dicked in the divorce settlement. But it wouldn't surprise me. In a kind of funny, sad twist, their daughter has since played the part of MeatSpace keystroke logger. She goes to her mother's place and hears her mother talk shit about Barry, which she has long since figured out is the code name for her father, which she then reports back to Barry. We met at church in the 5th grade. In the 7th grade we dated for 1 week and one night he called me and said he wasn't right in there. Eyes of God. I was like, what are you talking about? and he told me he was gay. We've been best friends for over 10 years since. I dated a bi girl in my youth. We were both in our early 20s. It became very clear after a week that she was not into dicks. It was like she wanted nothing to do with it other than penetration. She dated one more dude after me and has been with the same woman for over 15 years now. They are married and very happy. We are still friends, and she has admitted to me that the dating guys thing was a phase and just experimenting. Can I get it? Not straight, but, or not gay, but. I dated the most masculine guy the first had ever met. He was huge and tall, a tank. People that didn't know him were scared of him. Before, during, and after we dated, he had severe anger issues. Inpatient kind of anger issues. It spent night after night, for years, talking him down from hurting themselves or someone else. The final time they were at the hospital, when they got out, they cried, and said, "I think I'm non-binary." Immediately things got a little bit better. And then she said she was a woman. In a non-selfish way. It was kind of a hit to the gut. I felt like I was losing the person I loved. But I believed her, so we worked it out. And it was hard at first, because I had to act like nothing was different 100% of the time. Which eventually took its toll. She watched makeup tutorials. I bought her first dress, and went with her the first time she wore it in public. I tried learning how to do her hair. She was also black, and truthfully, I'd never tried to do C4 hair before. But we learned some hairstyles together as she grew hers out. I stayed for another yearish after she came out. Her anger issues literally dissolved. Apart from dysphoria here and there. I haven't seen her in about 2 years. But when we stopped contacting one another, she was publishing poetry. I think she's doing pretty well now, happiness-wise. A friend called me to tell me that she had slept with someone the night before. Unfortunately for him, he contracted crabs from the guy. Wasn't out yet and told doctor and friends he caught crabs from me. I didn't want to be the one that outed him, so I let people think I had crabs. Damn, I was such a nice ex-friend. Funny story actually. My wife and I, male, are both gay. We both grew up in very fundamentalist conservative Christian households. I denied to myself that I was gay my entire life. Though she was a semi-outed lesbian in high school. Then she came to Jesus late in high school and became straight again. We met in college as both very conservative Christians who were both telling ourselves that we were straight. We fell in love and got married as a hetero couple. About a year and a half in, we started admitting to ourselves and each other that we were gay. Since we were so close emotionally that we were comfortable coming out to each other. For me, it was the first time I admitted to myself that I was gay. Fortunately, we still work really well together sexually, and I wouldn't change a thing about our relationship. We have been married just over 2 years and feel authentic with ourselves and each other for the first time ever. Not me, but my friend. He just ghosted her, stopped responding to texts or calls. I was shifting for work in the same state he was and messaged him to meet me. Surprisingly, he was answered my calls, knowing I'm her best friend. We met. I just told him to talk to her once because she doesn't even know what happened. He still just gave her a cowardly no reason breakup after I had to push him to just talk to her once so she has some sort of closure. 2 years later he messaged her happy birthday, then told her he is gay, that's why he broke up. He has another girlfriend, so don't know if it's true, but I don't think he had any reason to lie. After no contact of 2 years. But hope he comes to terms with his sexuality soon. She mentioned liking Katy Perry a lot. Like a lot. Either way, I broke up with her because I was moving. 8 years later we started gaming together. She's been exclusively dating girls since then. She told me she was 99% lesbian. I was an exception at the time. Dated a girl for a few months. She initially asked me out and I was really into it. But it always seemed odd to me that all of her friends were lesbians. I asked her once if she had ever dated a woman and she laughed and said, "Why?" "Because all my friends are lesbians." But said no. She was completely straight. She dumped me probably 2 months in. But we've always been cool since then. Anyway, 2 years later and she's engaged to a woman. Found out on Instagram. Well, this is related to my mum and dad. Dad was found out to be having affairs for years behind my mum's back and was threatened to my mother by his boyfriend. The boyfriend contacts me to express he is worried about my dad. Turns out Dad fled and tried to commit suicide and ended up in a vegetative state for 3 years before dying. I dated a guy in high school for about a month. The day we started dating, he gave me a long speech about how I might hear from other people that he's gay, but he's not. He is just good friends with gay people and he gets made fun of before that. I was outraged and totally believed him. Then one day I got a Facebook message from a friend of a friend who said he had just found out that this guy and I were dating. Turns out he had been sleeping with my boyfriend for a couple of months now. That whole story from the first night was just his cover for why people said he was gay. Now, several years later, he's married to a straight girl and has 2 kids. My grandma divorced her first husband because, among other reasons, he moved his gay lover into the house. My bias loves my grandma because even so she is not homophobic at all. Ex-fiancé, though we broke up before she came out. Still friends 25 years later. Her life has had a lot of ups and downs, but she seems mostly happy with who she's with now. Not me but a friend story. My best friend is in 10-year-long relationship and the guy never propose even knowing she wants that and babies. She does not believe he is gay. The reason I know he is at least bisexual is BC I'm friends with a gay couple and another gay guy that are a lot into partying and mostly go to gay clubs. They have seen him there alone several times and have hooked up with a friend of my friends a few times. These guys are also her friends and have told her, but she is in denial and says he only goes there to support his very openly gay friend going to gay clubs. They have spent at least 1 year without having sex and she still believes his lies. He only sticks around her BC his family is extremely crazy and homophobic. I think she will only believe if she actually catches him having sex with a guy. She used to be an amazing look girl, but he has broken her spirit. Me and the gay couple have tried to take her out of their house several times. Every time they see him at the club, they text her to let her know. All of the people in our friend group knows about it. There are also other problems with the guy, but we, friends, are desperate to help, but she refuses to believe he is using her to look good in his parents' eyes.